Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sisters of the Strange. I'm Shae.
I'm Landrey. Are you ready? I'm going to jump right in.
What do you have? What do you have?
I'm just going to start right here.
I'm excited.
Some dolls are just toys, stuffed cotton and painted porcelain. But others seem to be vessels that hold whispers, curses, and secrets. Today, we are peeling back the veil on 3 of the most unsettling dolls in history.
Ooh, spooky.
Had to catch you real quick.
You got me.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm jump scared.
I'm scared. Well, I had a jump scare last night when I opened my freaking text message.
You're welcome.
Psycho.
If y'all don't follow us on social media, you should, because I posted it on our story what I did to her. I was doing research last night, per usual, and one of the dolls that I'm going to cover today is quite scary looking.
Is it even a doll or is it just a head?
It's just a head.
Okay.
We'll get further into him.
Okay.
But I just sent her a picture of the doll and I said, good night. And she had her notifications silenced. And I said, notify anyway, because absolutely not. Well, I was scared if I didn't notify anyway that you wouldn't see it before bed, and I wanted you to see it before bed.
I would have seen it, but I think it's funnier that you did that.
I said, notify anyway. Lizard.
Lizard.
Have you seen that where it's like when your friend has it's like notify anyway, notify anyway, notify anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every time.
So you're welcome.
Thank you. I was
She
playing
said-
my little game.
You said, why are you like this? And all I sent back was laughing faces.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
I said, good night from Mr. Fritz. His name's Mr. Fritz.
He ugly.
I would not speak ill of any of these dolls.
Oh, okay.
Guess I should have warned you in advance.
My bad.
Oops.
Sorry, King.
I take it back. You're so handsome.
You're so handsome.
Yeah, they say all of these dolls that I'm going to discuss today, you don't want to mock, but you don't want to say anything like ill about any of them.
I'm cooked, bro.
So our first doll is going to be Annabelle, the infamous spirit sealed behind glass.
The queen.
Mm-hmm. Our second will be Robert the doll, the sailor-suited doll who has a taste for vengeance. And then our final doll will be Mr. Fritz. He is a ventriloquist dummy with a smile too wide and a habit of blinking when no one is controlling him.
Ugh.
So dim the lights, lock your doors, and whatever you do, don't let them sense your fear. Okay. So I started research for this episode super early on into our podcasting days. But it just didn't feel right to share yet. Like something about the episode just wasn't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do haunted dolls, and I had Annabelle in there. I had Robert in there. I had a few other dolls that I will cover a completely different day. But it just didn't feel right. So I never did it. I just kept going on to other things.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot with Annabelle lately. She's been just leaving a trail in her wake.
Yeah.
And so it just felt right to talk about her. And later on, I'll get to a different part of the story, more towards the end of Robert the doll's story, where it almost came full circle for me again, where I was like, oh my God, the timing is just perfect for this episode.
Yeah.
But if you are in this community, then you know that Matt Rife just bought
Rat Mife.
just bought basically Annabelle. He bought the whole entire occult museum.
Crazy.
So now he is the owner of Annabelle.
A comedian owning a haunted doll is just not safe.
He actually does a lot he bought it with Elton, which I always thought his last name was Castile, Casteel.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the articles I read said his last name is Cassidy. So maybe his legal last name is different than his
stage name,
YouTube last name. But he owns a channel. I think it's Overnight is his channel. And Matt Rife has gone with him to investigate the Paris catacombs and the Conjuring house. So Matt Rife does go and do a lot of these paranormal things with him.
I mean, I figured that he liked the stuff, or else he wouldn't have do that.
Yeah, so they bought it together, but like since Matt Rife is more famous, he's the one I think getting labeled for the majority of it. But yeah, they do a lot of things together, which is crazy because on my road trip, I had the opportunity to go by the occult museum, their museum, but it's shut down right now. But now, if he owns it, it might be open.
Yeah.
By the time I'm there.
That would be cool.
Do I want to go?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
I want to see Annabelle in person.
I could have seen that, the Conjuring house, and the Lizzie Borden house all on one day on the road.
I absolutely would be doing that.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if Lizzie Borden's is like worth going by and it's kind of down and then you have to go.
That's fair. But the Conjuring house? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I was totally
and the occult museum? Yes.
I didn't really think I was going to go in the Conjuring. I would just like to like pull up and be like, hi, I'm here. And then
dip out.
Yeah. But I did look at the museum because I was like, oh, I totally want to go. But it's like not open right now. But you got to think Annabelle's not even there right now.
True.
So
she's getting her second wind, bro.
Well, yeah,
she's capturing all the energy.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot to talk about with her. But yeah, so let's dive right in. We're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Hartford, Connecticut in 1971, a mom was searching for the perfect Christmas gift for her daughter. I have yet to find her exact name, so for today's episode, we will be calling her Sally.
Hey.
Sally's mom found the perfect gift, a doll. It had red hair, rosy cheeks, big eyes, and stood at about 3 feet tall. She knew her daughter would love it and made the purchase with little else thought. Sally was a nurse at Hartford Hospital and shared an apartment with her friend who also worked at the hospital. Due to working and living together, they spent a lot of their time with one another. One morning, Sally brought her doll to the table and jokingly stated that Raggedy Ann, because it is a Raggedy Ann type doll, the real Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
So the movies don't portray her as she actually looks.
Which is probably smart.
Yeah, but I think that the reason they use, which I get into it kind of at the end of this episode, why I think dolls are just creepy. I think that they use a doll that looks so realistic for the fear factor.
Yeah.
Like she looks like a little human. And I think that that's part of the
scare,
the fear in it.
Yeah.
So anyways, one morning, Sally brought her doll to the table and jokingly stated that Raggedy Ann was going to have breakfast with them. Her roommate did not mind and played into the silliness. For whatever reason, she brought her down again the next morning and the morning after that. On the third morning, when they were joking around and talking to the doll, her arms moved from resting on the arms of her chair to lightly resting on the table. So like as they were watching her, her arms were sitting like this on her chair, and then she put them on the table. Somehow, Sally and her roommate were not scared by this. Instead, they were intrigued. One of the girls claimed to know another nurse at work who also knew a medium. So the girls thought maybe a medium could help since it seemed to have something paranormal going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
Yeah. Very smart. Good assumption.
Good decision.
So as part joke and part game, the two girls hosted a seance with the medium and the nurse who knew her. During the seance, the medium told them that there is a spirit of a 6-year-old girl in the doll. This girl was killed in a car accident just outside of their apartment building. Later, the girls did their research and fact-checked what they were told. To their surprise, there really had been a little girl named Annabelle who had passed away in a car accident just outside of their apartment. The two girls were heartbroken by this tragedy and started to treat the doll as they would a little girl. They talked to her, took her for rides, and bought her clothes, among other things. But after that first seance, strange things started happening in their apartment. The girls started to hear knocking sounds, see flashing lights, their beds would shake, there would be icy cold spots in the apartment, they could hear whispering, and all sorts of other really creepy occurrences. Now, they were both a little afraid to be alone in the apartment, so they did their best to stay on the same schedule at work. Sometimes, when they would make it home together in the middle of the night from their shifts, Annabelle would be standing at the front door. Which, one, is not where they would have left her, and two, is a little bit crazy because if you know what a Raggedy Ann doll is, it's not like a porcelain doll or a Barbie doll or any doll that has plastic.
Anywhere.
It's a very flimsy, like cotton.
Yeah.
Probably all made of cotton and yarn.
And it doesn't have feet, does it?
No. It's
like
kind
rounded.
of like little like stubbies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it would be standing. Like they'd open the front door and she'd be standing there.
Oh, hell no.
Somehow the girls still weren't absolutely terrified, which I would have been mortified, but they just believed that it really was Annabelle, the little girl.
Regardless, that's not okay.
Regardless, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the girls was actually engaged though and had her fiance over often. He knew better than to believe that the doll was being haunted by a little girl. He was telling the girls to burn the doll, throw it away, and that it was just plain evil. One Saturday, while the fiancé was there, he fell asleep on the couch with the doll not far from him sitting in the chair. The girls were also home and they were cleaning up the apartment. He woke up from his nap, startled, and told the girls he had a terrible nightmare. In his dream, Annabelle was strangling him. Oddly enough, the girls noticed he did in fact have marks on his neck as if she was truly strangling him in real life outside of his dream. Trying to assert some dominance and probably ease his own mind, he picked up the doll and threw it, saying, "You are nothing but a rag doll and you cannot hurt me." But before he knew it, he had 7 scratches across his abdomen, a chair was rolling across the room at him, and pictures were flying off the walls.
Oh, she pissed.
Yeah, he made her a little grumpy. The 2 girls did witness this and in fear called the Episcopal canon in Hartford, who then called Richard Nolan, who then called Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Ooh, I got goosies.
They did an exorcism immediately on the doll, the apartment, and the 3 people. After all of this, Ed took the doll home with him. He said that he kept it as proof because people were like, why would you take a haunted doll home with you? And he said that his goal was to prove that the paranormal was real, which is why he created the occult museum. Basically, It was all sorts of artifacts of all the, not necessarily even just all the haunted places he'd been, but people would send him stuff and things like that. And so he said that he kept all of those as a form of proof for people to come experience and realize this is real. Yeah. Because it was a lot harder to have tangible proof of things.
Right.
Now there's cameras everywhere about everything. So later on, one random day, a local priest came over with his brand new car and wanted to show it off to the Warrens, as you do. And so they actually worked with a lot of priests and detectives and things like that because they helped solve so many cases. And so that's where they kind of became friends with a lot of the local authorities like that. Yeah. So they loaded up and headed out for their drive. And on that drive, the priest asked Ed about the doll everyone was talking about and asked if he could see it. So Ed took him in the museum when they got back from the drive. Annabelle had been sitting patiently in a chair. Ed claimed that the priest walked over to the doll, picked it up, and threw it, just like the last guy. The difference is that the priest said God is more powerful than any devil while throwing the doll. Ed claimed that he then said, "Yes, Father, God is more powerful than a million devils, but you are not."
Correct.
Which less than an hour later was proved to be correct. The priest lost control of his brand new car on Route 84 and was sheared in. He was not sheared in half, but the car was sheared in half by a tractor trailer. The priest did survive, and during this, he said the last thing he saw was Annabelle's face. Another horrific encounter Ed claimed to have occurred was one where a detective was at their house and asked to see their museum. Like I said, they worked with a lot of the authorities, so a detective came over to talk about a case and asked to see what was all in the museum.
Yeah.
So naturally, Ed led him down to the museum where Annabelle sat in a chair amongst their other collectibles. While showing the detective around, Ed received a personal call on the landline and had to return up to the main home. Before exiting the museum area, Ed told the man, don't touch anything, but feel free to look around. While Ed was on the call, this 6'3" detective came up the stairs, hands trembling and face drawn. But he did not want to tell his story of what happened. Ed went back over to the museum and found everything in complete disarray and knocked over. He immediately knew that the man had tried to touch Annabelle or he had disrespected her. Another unassuming college kid went to the museum and knocked on Annabelle's case, reportedly saying, "You can't do anything. I dare you to scratch me." Within 3 hours, this young man had wrecked his motorcycle and passed away.
Oh my God, bro.
Why disrespect the doll?
Yeah.
Why even joke? I am so superstitious. We are not joking.
But also, I'm glad that he decided to put the thing in a case.
At some point, yeah.
At some point, finally he was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
always wondered that, but now that you say that people were picking her up and throwing her.
Yeah, just issues left and right. And I don't know. I go into it a little bit. There is someone who made a case for her and had put crosses and inlaid them and the Holy Trinity. I say that in here. I don't know if Ed had the same kind of protection in a case, but I think the case was used as a protective measure.
Yeah.
But she can still harm you. I have a story of someone else, but she will still harm you if you're not respectful. Just be respectful. It's really not that hard. Just
don't say anything.
Just be nice.
Yeah. Or don't say anything.
Yeah, just be there. Just be there. Or don't be there at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't control what's going on,
maybe don't.
Yeah. So I found a story from a girl named Marissa. She has a I don't know if it's her website, but it was on Wicked Horror. I just want to put credit where credit's due. So I will have also all the links to all of my research, and a lot of this I write from other people's words. Like I don't copyright or anything like that, but I take from them. And so I will have all the links in the show notes for this episode. But yeah, so I found another article from an author named Marissa. Okay. Marissa saw an event titled An Evening with Annabelle that was hosted by Ed and Lorraine's son-in-law, Tony. The event was described as a dinner that showcased items from the Warrens Occult Museum, and in the finale would be a viewing of the real Annabelle doll. She loved all things horror and jumped at the opportunity to be in a room with the real Annabelle doll. Throughout the event, Tony shared all sorts of paranormal things from the Warrens, including haunted items, possession tapes, and more. The mood was pretty light in the beginning and got progressively heavier while listening to the possession tapes, then downright eerie when it came time for Annabelle. Tony warned everyone to not mock her or say anything negative about her, because, as already mentioned, when you do, things tend to go wrong. He shared the same story I already mentioned about the young man wrecking his motorcycle not 3 hours after mocking Annabelle. Marissa shared that suddenly all she could think about was mocking Annabelle. This thought did not stem from wanting to be rude to the doll or mock the doll, but was more because Tony said not to do it, so now it was a fear and at the forefront of her mind. Almost like when someone tells you to do something, so suddenly you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Or when someone says to do something or not do something, and now it suddenly sounds really intriguing and it's all you can think about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, as Marissa approached Annabelle, she recited to herself over and over, okay, just take a photo, don't mock her, just go quickly, don't mock her, like in her head, because she was going to go take a picture by her case.
Yeah.
But as she neared Annabelle's case to take her photo, her head slipped into a darker state, and all she could think about was how hideous Annabelle looked inside of her box. Marissa quickly righted her mindset when she realized where her thoughts had gone, but not before Annabelle seemed to have heard her thoughts. Over the next year and a half, Marissa suffered immensely at what she believes was the hands of Annabelle. First, she twisted her ankle doing a daily routine of taking her dinner to her room from the kitchen. Like she just was walking from the kitchen to her room, twisted her ankle, fell, shattered her plate. Sounds a little clumsy, but if she's never done it before, after this, okay. Second, she moved into her dream apartment and quickly began finding bugs and cockroaches all over her new home.
Ew.
So she said in this that her new roommate was like an elderly lady who really creeped her out and just stared at her, like was never like nice or like anything, just would like stare and smile at her, but never like said anything. And she lived a very gross life. And so the cockroaches were literally coming into her apartment from her apartment, which is a thing because my apartment in college did that. I'm a very clean person. I keep a very clean home. And I had cockroaches in my apartment in Lubbock because I shared a wall with the trash chute. Yeah, I had to get my apartment bombed like 2 or 3 times.
Gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And I keep like, when I say I keep a very clean home, I mean I keep a very clean home.
Yeah.
So, very plausible. Third, she woke up one night with such violent pains in her stomach that she called her mom and had her take her to the ER, only to be told after a long night there that she was of perfect health. Fourth, she was able to leave her apartment from hell and find a new home. While living here, she had the flu for 2 weeks and developed a persistent cough. She went to the doctor to receive care, only to be told once again that nothing was wrong. Fifth, she started hearing noises in her room, ones she could not explain or find the cause of. There were other strange events like her dog spreading feces all over her room and bed and her ending up covered head to toe.
Ew!
Like the dog had like defecated or whatever the right word would be on the floor and she cleaned it up. And then when she got in bed, it was like in her bed and she's like, oh my gosh, I guess I got it on my feet. And she was just so fed up at this point that she went to scream into her pillow and then it was on her pillow as well.
Ew!
So it was just everywhere.
Gross.
So now Marissa was, So also Marissa was an avid horror fan. So in her room, she had Funko Pop dolls of Chucky, Tiffany, Annabelle, Pinhead, and Jigsaw. So I think they're the ones with the bigger heads.
Yeah.
One night after her cockroach infestation remanifested in her new home, she woke up to find her Funko Pop Annabelle doll laying on her bedroom floor. Upon instinct, she drove as far as she thought was safe and discarded the doll into a trash bin.
Maybe
Smart.
don't.
Well, I mean, kind of smart. That's what most people do.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't know how it normally works out, but finally her last straw was when their home was in major danger. She recalled someone trying to break into their home while she, her dog, and her sister hid in their bathroom. Finally, they decided to move once again, and she threw every article she kept, wore, or took from that event. After removing all remnants of Annabelle from her life, everything seemed to improve. Marissa does warn, though, tread lightly if you stare at this photo, and whatever you do, do not mock her. And it's a picture of her and Annabelle together.
Woo! That made me spooked.
Yeah. So, also in my research, I looked up the most recent tour that Annabelle was on. There's been a lot of media coverage of the tour and all the odd events the doll is leaving in her wake.
Yes.
So the tour is sponsored by the New England Society for Psychic Research, other known as the NESPR. The tour launched in May of 2025 at the West Virginia State Penitentiary, and from my research, nothing too spooky occurred here. But maybe she was just getting amped up for her next round of antics.
Mm-hmm.
Her next stop was in New Orleans, Louisiana. Her visit was followed by a fire at the historic Nottoway Plantation, a prison escape from Orleans Prison Parish, and a fire at a home in the French Quarter, which was once the residence of Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen. After New Orleans and leaving behind a trail of terror, she went to San Antonio, Texas. I do believe that between New Orleans and San Antonio is when people thought she went missing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the leg of the trip where they were like, Annabelle's missing. And I don't think she really had been, but whatever caused that to happen, the thought, that's, I think, when it happened. But either way, she made it safe and sound to Victoria's Black Swan Inn, which was in San Antonio. What I found while researching her visit to San Antonio shook me, like, pretty heavily.
Oh.
So I found an article written on May 19th of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
May 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The article is written by a Stephanie Koithan, maybe? It's Koithan. In this article, she stated that a friend from New Orleans had warned her to be careful due to all of the events that occurred in New Orleans with Annabelle. And she wrote in her article, I was protected. Daniel Rivera? Is it Rivera? Daniel Rivera is an official with the Warrens Occult Museum in Connecticut, which displays the Annabelle doll when it's not touring the country. Rivera, who accompanied the doll on its tour, assured me he had safeguards in place. This sentence alone pulled me to continue reading, especially if you know what happened to Dan in July.
Mm-hmm.
So after this article had been written. Dan's safeguards were the box that he had built to contain Annabelle alongside the 3 crosses he inlaid that present the Holy Trinity. Apparently, Dan also stated, if I'm going to be handling this, I'm going to put all of my faith into it. Again, another sentence that froze me. Because on July 13th, while Annabelle was at her next stop in Gettysburg, Dan Rivera passed away of natural causes. Whether it is in relation to the doll or not, it is just a terrifying...
Yeah.
It's just still terrifying. He passed away in his hotel room on the tour without the doll in his presence, but from what I understand, he was her main handler.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems dark and eerie to me.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Do not fear, though. If you still have the courage to see Annabelle the doll, her tour continues. September 6th through 7th, she will be at Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention in Maine. October 4th, she will be at Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo in Illinois. And in mid-October, she will be in Lexington, Kentucky at Scarefest. I do believe that's her last stop of the tour before maybe she returns to the museum with Matt Rife.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
Now, if something happens to Matt Rife, it's going to be weird.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Or even like the Elton guy.
Yeah.
But not Elton guy, that sounds disrespectful, even if something happens to Elton. But what really got me out of that is how this girl had met Dan and he was like, no, it's so safe. I have all of this in place. Like,
yeah.
And he's who handles her. And then he passed away. Like, I already knew he passed away on tour. And that was kind of like, which a lot of people were like, oh, it's just his natural time in the world, which could be true. He was only in his 50s, which is a little
young.
A little, but a lot of people are passing away young right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that he's like, I'm going to put my whole faith into this is kind of spooky.
It's a little spooky because why did you die?
Yeah, what happened? I don't know. So don't disrespect Annabelle.
The moral of the story.
Be nice. So that's all I had on Annabelle. Just be nice to her. There's a lot more stories out there in the world. There's a lot of people who don't believe in her because a lot of people don't believe in Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like they're
skeptics.
Which I really haven't looked super heavy into.
I know. I really need a deep dive into that.
Yeah, it's probably an episode we should do. I haven't really looked super heavy into them, so I don't really know. Like a lot of people are like, they're con artists. Ed is a essay person. Like he essayed, like had a 15-year-old girl living there under Lorraine, like knew. So there's a lot of articles like that, but I've never dug further. So
I haven't either.
Before I make any claims on what I really believe on any of that, I totally believe in haunted dolls. So
oh yeah,
that alone is enough for me. But yeah, we'll have to dig deeper on them one day. So, our next doll is Robert the doll. Have you ever heard of him?
I have heard of him.
Okay.
I don't know his lore, though.
Okay. Well, we don't disrespect him either, so be mindful.
Okay.
Be mindful.
Love you, Robbie.
No bad jokes. So, if you ever find yourself wandering the old streets of Key West, Florida, you might stumble across the Fort East Martello Museum, home to one of the most chilling haunted artifacts in America, a weathered doll named Robert. Robert's story begins over a century ago, in the early 1900s, when a boy named Eugene Otto, better known as Gene, received the doll as a gift. Some say Robert was a gift to Gene from his grandfather, who traveled to Germany and acquired the doll while there. Some say a maid in Gene's childhood home was found doing voodoo rituals and fired, but before she could leave the home, she gave Robert the doll to Gene.
Mm-hmm.
Robert wears a white and blue sailor outfit and stands at about 4 feet tall. It is believed that the sailor outfit was probably Gene's, the owner's, and that Robert the doll probably came actually in some sort of like clown type costume.
Oh.
Because if he was from Germany, like if his granddad did get him from Germany, then he was made at the factory that made like the first teddy bear. Yeah. And he was more of like a one-of-a-kind type of doll.
Yeah.
Just some speculation on where he potentially could come from.
Mm-hmm.
But Gene quickly bonded with the doll. He took it everywhere, spoke to it constantly, and even set a place at the table for Robert.
Yeah, 4 feet tall is big for a doll.
Especially when I think he received the doll at like 4 years old. So it was probably around his size.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you remember, I stated that Gene's real name is Robert Eugene Otto.
Mm-hmm.
At this time in his life, he was called Robert still. But upon getting the doll, he insisted that the doll wanted to be named Robert as well, and that there could not be two Roberts, so he now went by Gene.
Oh, okay.
So he gave up his like full government name to the doll to go by Gene instead.
Okay.
So that Robert could be Robert.
Sure. Absolutely.
I agree.
Whatever you want.
Whatever Robert wants.
Yep.
So strange things started happening not long after Robert came into Gene's life. Gene would lock himself in his playroom with Robert for hours. His family could hear Robert speaking and making the usual noises of a child playing, but would also catch glimpses of a dark voice reverberating throughout the room and space as well. When they would go to investigate who Gene may be playing with, all they would find in there were Robert and him. They would ask Gene multiple times throughout these encounters to recreate Robert's voice, and he never could. He was adamant that it was not him anyway, and that Robert was talking back to him.
I'm like scared to say anything at all.
I know, you're like, whoop, no. And it's a big, beautiful home. Like, I can show you. It's called the Artist House now. Like, you can go visit their home now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the house that he was raised in. It's a very pretty home. Just, I think, from how infamous this story is.
Okay.
But it's a very, really, really pretty home. So and it looks like pretty big. So, like, his playroom, it's weird. It's kind of weird to me. Anyways, one night, Gene's parents were awoken by loud crashes and their son's terrified screams. They burst into his room to find furniture overturned, toys scattered, and Gene curled up in fear. Sitting quietly at the foot of his bed? Robert. When asked what happened, Gene only had one answer. Robert did it. From that moment on, Robert was often blamed for unusual happenings in the house. Broken items, odd giggles in the night, flickering lights, and the deep rumble of a man's voice, as I have previously mentioned. The destruction reached a boiling point when one of Gene's other favorite toys was obliterated. Gene's parents had had enough. They did not know if Robert the doll was actually causing the ruckus or if Gene just blamed his bad behavior on the doll. But at this point, they could handle it no longer and banished Robert to the attic. While this greatly upset Gene, Robert did not stay hidden in the attic long. It is said that you could hear little footsteps running throughout the attic, and at night, people in the home would catch glimpses of a little white figure scurrying by. Many maids would hire on into servitude at the Otto family, only to quit shortly after and without explanation. I'd wager that Robert was probably the reason. As Gene grew older, he became a respected artist and traveled through Europe. It was only when Gene's mother passed away that he returned to his childhood home with his wife, Annette. Oddly enough, upon returning home, one of Gene's first choices was to head to the attic where Robert sat in waiting. Gene brought Robert back into the main home, and the bond the two had formed all those years prior continued to grow once again. They were now inseparable.
As an adult?
As an adult.
Okay, great.
Not surprisingly, his wife did not feel the same comfort around Robert.
Yeah.
Maybe it was due to the eeriness in which Robert made her feel, or maybe she simply did not like that her husband had a bond
with a doll.
A doll. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be Not okay with that either.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel. Probably a little odd.
A little creeped out.
Yeah. Either way, Annette grew tired of Robert and asked Jean to please do something else with him. So, Jean gave Robert his old childhood room. Jean set Robert up in the window so that he could have a view of the street. Children passing by claimed that they saw the doll moving behind the glass, even mocking them from the window. The kids would purposely take different routes so that they did not have to walk by his home and the haunted doll who stared at them. Over the remainder of Jean's life, he could be found in his childhood room painting and still conversing with Robert, regardless of what his wife wanted. In 1974, Jean passed away, and one of the first things Annette did was place Robert back in the attic. But time and time again, the doll would be found back in his window seat, staring out over the road. Later in the same year, Annette sold the estate and left Robert with it.
Fair. He probably didn't want to leave. So.
Can't blame her.
Can't blame her.
Later in the same year, Annette sold the estate and left Robert with it. When the new owners of the home moved in, they found Robert sitting in the attic, waiting patiently for a new family. Myrtle, the new owner, left him in the attic until she began to hear giggling and running in the attic. Rather than be fearful of this, she decided to bring the doll downstairs and into the main home. Her first impressions of Robert were not feelings of fear. She actually felt quite comfortable around him and hoped to appease him by allowing him to reside alongside her in the home. For the first 20 years of living in the home and alongside Robert, Myrtle resided comfortably and shared the home with him freely. She never felt nervous or scared by his doings, even though he still moved around and things in the home would go awry. However, in 1994, when Myrtle sold and moved out of the Otto house, this all changed. She took Robert with her, which seemed to be a grave mistake.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm like, you called it. Myrtle claimed that just a few days after moving into her new home, she found herself locked in her bedroom. Something that night caused her such great fear that the very next day, she donated Robert to the Fort East Martello Museum. She never disclosed what happened that night, but the strange occurrences did not stop with the placement of him in the museum. When he first arrived, he was placed in a back room and without a case. Workers would claim the same as the Otto family. They would see a white small figure running around corners and throughout the museum. Eventually, Robert was given his own display, where he still sits proudly today. Visitors report cameras failing when they try to photograph Robert. Some feel sick or uneasy in his presence. Others claim that after mocking or disrespecting him, they experience a string of misfortunes, accidents, job loss, and even divorce. Robert has received over 10,000 apology letters where people are asking for forgiveness for disrespecting him. So, if you ever visit Robert, be respectful, ask before you take a photo, and if something strange happens afterward, well, don't say you weren't warned.
Oh my God. Not 10,000 apology letters.
Yeah. So, if you're part of the paranormal world like I am, then you may watch Sam and Colby. And if you do, then you know where I'm going with this. If not, I am here to inform you. I will be your guide into this journey. So, over 2 years ago, Sam and Colby went and investigated Robert the doll. Shortly after their investigation, Colby was diagnosed with testicular cancer. He had went through all of it. He only has one testicle left. He's been through it. And while he does not fully blame Robert the doll, he did write his own apology letter after being disrespectful in their first investigation with the doll.
He should have known better.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of the things that they kind of mentioned because they go and investigate a second time. And the second time he asked the people who own the museum, and I think maybe someone who works there, maybe the owner's son, he asked them, do y'all think Robert did this? And they're like, absolutely, we think they did, because you kind of asked for it in your first episode. You kind of not asked for it, but you were wanting kind of proof that the paranormal is real. You were looking for that proof and you got it.
Hello.
Yeah. So around 7 months ago, as I just mentioned, the two went back to investigate Robert the doll once more. During their second visit, they sat down with the author and owner named David L. Sloan, and he has a book literally named Robert the Doll. I haven't read it, but he said while writing this book, his life was hell. He even told Colby that during one of his visits to Robert, he brought a psychic, and that the psychic told David Robert wanted to give him cancer. Then, shortly after, is when he heard about what happened to Colby, and he knew Robert was the cause. That's why whenever Colby said, do you believe Robert did this to me? He was like, without a doubt. Yeah. Because this is what happened to me. Yeah. And whenever I heard about it, I just knew. Yeah. So this interview struck such a chord with Colby that before they even began the second investigation, he went in, got down on his knees, and had written another letter, or maybe it's the same letter he had already written. Yeah. And straight up
read it to him.
Read it to the doll. Yes. Like apologizing. Like, I am so sorry. So.
That's crazy.
It's terrifying. It's very scary. So one Reddit user named, their username is DoneMyth SYS. Don't know.
Okay.
I will have it in the notes because, like I said, credit's due. But they claim that on their trip to Key West, they visited Robert. The author claims his wife was very superstitious and uncomfortable the whole time, so he was joking around with her. Little did he know his mistake. When they went to leave the museum, their car wouldn't start, and as it turns out, their battery was dead. When the AAA guy got there, he said that their cords, like the wires to their batteries, were so corroded that he'd never seen anything like it.
Mm-hmm.
So while the car was being fixed, he went back inside and apologized to Robert. As you should.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's lucky they weren't further away.
Yeah.
Another Reddit user named Chain and Scale experienced some of Robert's antics as well. While he was on vacation with his family, the group collectively decided to go to the museum, but the author himself had no desire to see Robert face to face. He said, "I had read about him before, and I do not want to see him in person." But there's other things to look at the museum, so he went to look at other things. So while at the museum, the author took a picture of an exhibit, later to find that it had Robert in the background on accident, because you're not supposed to take a picture without asking his permission.
Yeah.
He then deleted the picture when he realized, well, I'm assuming this is a man's story. I'm sorry, I don't know. But they deleted the picture when they realized, but they were not quick enough for Robert to have not have noticed that his picture had been taken. One night, shortly after, when they were laying in bed, they heard laughing in their room and quickly hit the light switch to see what was in there. Of course, nothing was there, but the light switch that hung from the fan was moving in a circle as if someone was playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that small encounter, they claim to live a good life and think that although Robert does not like his picture taken without consent, he will only tease those who disrespect him by accident. So he's basically saying, like, I think he was messing with me, but not like being harmful. Yeah, but like, don't do it again.
This is your warning.
Yes, so this one's a little creepy. I found yet another user on Reddit who experienced Robert's wrath. Apparently, one girl did not believe in the lore of Robert and took a photo without permission. If you can guess, after this occurrence, she had a string of bad luck and misfortune. One of her friends jokingly blamed Robert while snapping a photo of her, only to find a very eerie-looking figure accompanying her in the photo. After snapping the image and seeing this, the girl reportedly sent a letter of apology to Robert.
Yep.
So I have two pictures. I'm going to give you this so you can look. The first, I'm going to put it like where you can only see the first one. Just kind of look around and then you can scroll down and someone enhanced like the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So these will also be probably on camera and also on our Instagram.
That is so freaky.
Yeah, for sure.
The first one's scarier.
Yeah, just the like very slight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, those will be linked, but
ugh.
So she had that picture taken and said, okay.
Gotta send my letter.
Yeah, we writing. And this is what Robert the doll looks like.
Oh yeah, let me see him.
Oh, so he's below.
It's not what I thought he looked like.
No. And so his face has a little bit, like his body has a little bit of like destruction done to him just because he's
old,
over 100 years old. And so they probably think he looked something more similar to this when they got him.
Oh, okay.
You can see, like I could see the...
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, so that's what they kind of think he probably looked like before putting on Jean's sailor outfit.
Oh, the outfit.
Yeah. So my final tidbit on Robert the doll is a fun fact that I felt I had to share when I saw it this morning while I was finishing up some research. This is the one where I was like, this kind of full circle again. Like it only proved to me more that I needed to do this episode today.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if any of our audience grew up listening to their dad play garage music or even grew up watching MTV. Either way, we all should know who Ozzy Osbourne is.
Yeah.
He is the Prince of Darkness, the rock legend, and a one-of-a-kind man who the world just recently lost.
Yeah.
Which is so sad.
So sad. R.I.P. to a legend.
Yes. But reportedly, Ozzy himself met Robert the doll and had his own story to share.
Really?
His son has a ghost hunting show.
Oh, didn't know that.
On the TV show Ozzy and Jack's World Detour, which aired in 2017, Ozzy and his son Jack visited the East Martello Museum in Key West, where Robert the doll resides. They encountered the doll and even bought a replica at the gift shop. Later, in their paranormal-themed show, The Osbournes Want to Believe, Jack reintroduced Robert the doll to his father. Apparently, Ozzy reacted by exclaiming, "Not him again," and then went on to claim that after meeting the doll, he experienced a slew of health issues, a fall, neck surgery, an infection in his hand, hospitalization due to the flu complications, and more. He attributed these misfortunes to having disrespected the cursed doll. You think it's a fucking joke. It's bad luck. Just look at what has gone on with me. You think it's a joke, which I can totally hear Ozzy's voice.
I can hear it, yeah.
Mumbling and stumbling through that. And then his son, Jack, added, I had a great year after that. I got divorced, suggesting his own life fortunes had changed as well. So I felt that I had to add.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. You have to add that in there.
Yeah. So that's
crazy.
Of Little Robert. What's your thoughts on Little Robert?
I think it's crazy that you can buy a replica of him in a gift shop.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of those they sell.
I don't know.
Be very curious to know.
Yeah, I didn't look that up. You're like, I have a lot to say,
I have
but I'm
a lot
scared.
to say, but I can't. I'm scared to.
Same. I was scared to even look at the pictures. Like while I was putting these pictures in here, I'd enter, so there'd be space to where I didn't have to stare at the picture while I was typing.
Yeah.
Yes, because they freaked me out a little bit. The idea of, and subconsciously too, how she subconsciously like made Annabelle mad at her.
Yeah.
You know? Because I do that a lot. You know when you're like trying not to think of something and then subconsciously it's all you can think about. And you're like, oh my God, what if people around me have special powers and they know what I'm thinking? They can read my mind. What if someone's actually a mind reader and they know what I'm thinking about right now? And it's always so inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not meaning to think it. I'm like, quit thinking about it. Quit thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I can't.
You can't.
So I'm like, that is terrifying.
Yeah, that is a little scary.
How would you feel about seeing a doll running around your house? A 4-foot tall doll.
Not great. Not great.
At that, it's a 4-foot tall doll.
I would
he's
be
not even just
terrified.
he's not even just like a porcelain doll. He is also like a 4-foot.
Yeah. No.
Just a glimpse of a little white shadow running around.
No. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
I'll pass on that.
I don't know if the attic would be enough for me.
No.
But I also know how these things go and know that throwing them away doesn't work.
Doesn't ever work.
So
it never works.
I don't know what I would handle.
Just leave him in his place and
this is your house now.
Mind your business. Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't need to leave here.
You stay here.
I can live.
Just like that lady that moved.
Yeah, I can leave. Okay, so my next little doll is Mr. Fritz. He is the one that I sent Shae a lovely picture of. He's a very handsome guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the next doll I want to mention is not one that I had actually ever heard of before, but I watched a single YouTube video over him and knew I had to include him in the episode.
Immediately.
I was looking up like haunted dolls to just see if there was any more like lore that I wanted to include, because there's a few other haunted dolls I want to talk about and I'll just talk about them a different day.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to debate like, do I want to add more? Is this episode going to be long enough with just Annabelle and Robert? Probably not. Like a little something else. This guy.
This is the guy.
This guy. So Mr. Fritz is a ventriloquist head with no body, no arms, no legs. Just a head that looks to be made of paper mache and hand painted. His origins are only known by a small handwritten note that had accompanied him. The note explained that he was originally a ventriloquist doll who was used to entertain Allied POWs during World War II in Stalag, which is in Germany, between 1943 and 1945.
Wow.
Stalag was I am so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I can't talk ever, so.
Yeah.
Today's probably the best day I've ever read.
You're doing
on this
great.
Podcast.
You're doing so good.
You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie. Go, Kylie, go.
Yeah, woo. So Stalag was a German POW camp that was established as one of the first Nazi concentration camps in 1933.
Woo.
6 years after its establishment, in late September of 1939, the camp was changed to a POW camp. Yeah, because it was a concentration camp, and then it became a POW camp. This POW camp was the first used to house Polish soldiers, and years later, in August of 1943, housed American prisoners. Over 600 American prisoners of war were held here, where life was harsh, the days were long, and filled with intensive labor, and little to no rations of food or water. Prisoners tried to overcome these hardships by fostering their education and performing acts such as musicals or comedy. Among the prisoners was a man named Private Billy Booth. He is who made Mr. Fritz, with German newspapers soaked in potato starch and painted him with a smuggled pot of pink gloss that a Polish farmer had given him.
Wow.
For almost 18 months, Billy Booth and Mr. Fritz entertained the prisoners of war, but unfortunately, on January 14th of 1945, 2 weeks before the camp was liberated, Billy and 9 other U.S. POWs were taken into a field, made to dig a large pit, and shot for not working hard enough.
Oh.
Isn't that horrible? 2 weeks?
Yes.
2 weeks away from getting to go home. When the camp was finally liberated on January 28th of 1945, Mr. Fritz was taken back to the United States by a fellow prisoner and given to Billy's family as a reminder of their son's fortitude and his ability to raise morale in the harshest of conditions. Not much remains of Mr. Fritz, so they don't know if he did have a body or not.
Okay.
Not sure. A solitary head mounted on a piece of wooden stick, his face peeling and warped, as dead as he looks, some would argue that he is very much alive. Unlike most of the exhibits in Michael's collection, which were acquired through investment, Mr. Fritz was given to him for free, because he now lives with this man, which I'm about to tell you about.
Okay.
A well-known World War II militia dealer in Liverpool approached Michael at a festival they were both working at. He had seen Michael's traveling exhibition of oddities and thought Mr. Fritz would fit in perfectly. Mr. Fritz was discovered in an antiques mall in Myrtle Beach, USA, and once the dealer heard of the connection with the German POW camp, he felt compelled to buy him and bring him to the UK, which is where, like I said, the event was at. It was then that things started to happen. The dealer who wishes to remain anonymous, well, actually, the event might not have happened there. But this is just, he brought him back to the UK from America.
Okay,
sorry, my brain. Anyways, the dealer who wishes to remain anonymous first started to notice something strange when he put Mr. Fritz on display in his showroom. He would lock up for the night and come back in the morning to discover that Mr. Fritz's display case was wide open, even after it had been firmly shut. Every night it would be shut, yet every morning it would be open again. Things then started to make a more uncanny turn. Mr. Fritz would sometimes have his eyes open when they were normally closed. His mouth would also change position. The dealer tried to think of the obvious explanations, such as humidity, a breeze, or even going as far to think that a mouse may have made a nest in his head. Upon closer inspection, he discovered it was neither of these things. Day after day, the door continued to open, so he finally taped it shut. The following day, he returned to find the tape peeled back and the door open once more. He finally removed Mr. Fritz from the showroom and placed him in the garden shed where he stayed for another 6 months. His children then reported hearing laughter from the shed as they played in the garden, and nobody would dare to go near it. Mr. Fritz had to go. As soon as Michael adopted the lonesome remains of Mr. Fritz, he placed him in the freak room, and immediately things started to happen. The door started to open. At first, it was once or twice a week, but soon the door opened every night without fail. He even discovered one morning that the display case was not only open, but it had moved 6 inches across the table. Curiosity finally got the better of Michael, and he set up a GoPro camera to monitor Mr. Fritz.
Yes, sir.
As you might imagine, a doll that was made to entertain people was not camera shy, and the following footage was shot over 2 nights in September of 2019. So for legality reasons, I am not going to insert the video. I'm going to share it with Shae, but I will have the link in the notes of this episode, and I could not recommend enough to go watch it. You ready?
No.
We're going to watch this thing together.
Bro, what the actual hell? That is so scary.
Would you like to describe to the audience?
So there's this literal floating head. Literally looks like just a floating head in a glass case. And the door just like opens like all the way. It's not just like the latch opens and it just opens. And then in the next video,
which is just a day apart. And they're both one was at 3:30 in the morning and the next one was 3:36 in the morning.
So this doll, this head is literally like just in this case and his eyes like open and the door opens and then it opens some more and then his mouth opens and closes.
Yeah. And not just like, it doesn't just like open and close and then open and close. It like opens. It's like he wakes up.
Yeah.
Pushes his cage open, goes to talk, takes a breather, goes to talk again. And there's orbs floating around the whole time.
The whole thing. And the sound is creepy too, because it's like that muffled like GoPro sound, you know?
With a grandfather clock in the background
going tick, tick, tick. Oh, that is spooky.
And I had to put him in.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
I have not either. I've seen like the videos of dolls where they just like
fall over. Yeah.
You know? But nothing like this.
Not like that. Oh, God.
So if Billy wants to open Mr. Fritz's cabinet every now and again to reminisce of days gone by, then Michael doesn't have a problem with that. The private collection of alternative entertainer Michael Diamond is home to some of the rarest sideshow exhibits and and apparatus in the UK. Oddities such as an elephant-headed boy from Brading Waxwork Museum, real execution swords and axes, Houdini's handcuffs, and shrunken heads are all on display in his freak room alongside this Mr. Fritz. But tucked away in the corner, shrouded in a blanket, is a display cabinet with the closed door. The freak room is now the final resting place of Mr. Fritz, a haunted ventriloquist doll who has struggled to find a home since 1945.
Aw, I'm gonna cry over Mr. Fritz.
Yeah.
I mean, a blanket over him?
I guess. I don't know. That's what it says.
Maybe when they're not open?
Yeah. But you got to think, he doesn't seem like, he's not like malicious. He's not like mean. He's not sending out scary things. He's just, he was used for entertainment and he was used in a harsh time in life, but like he brought joy to those around him during that time. So while he might look a little, he's weathered. He's weathered. Yeah, no, I'm a little nervous to say anything. He looks like a doll that's 100 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
For sure.
But he doesn't seem, I don't think he seems like nefarious.
No.
So I just kind of want to discuss a few theories and reasons on why dolls seem so inherently scary. First and foremost, from a supernatural perspective, dolls are considered ideal vessels for spirits. They are human-shaped, can be easily moved, and are often given names and personalities by their owners, which, according to some paranormal theories, makes it easier for a spirit to attach to them.
Okay.
Almost like an egregore, things that we create. It's almost like creating this spirit to live in this doll. It's almost like bringing your doll to life.
Good.
They also tend to remain in one place for decades, which gives lingering energy or entities time to settle in. In some traditions, dolls have been intentionally used to house spirits, curses, or magic intent. So like sometimes dolls are used whenever people pass away, they'll like give that person the doll as a vessel. So historically, there's a lot of history behind dolls. I didn't want to dive into that because I would have gone on a history lesson about dolls rather than a scary episode about dolls. But there's a ton of history behind dolls, and like they started. They used to be buried like in Egyptian tombs. They would find dolls buried with like the owner of the doll. It's just, there's a whole thing on that. But part of what makes haunted dolls so terrifying in ghost stories is their ability to seem harmless and unmoving for long periods until something changes. Whether it's a head turning, an arm moving, or the doll appearing in a new spot entirely, the shift from inanimate object to animate object breaks our sense of reality. That kind of violation, an object doing something it's not supposed to, makes us question what else around us might not be as safe as we think. I would also argue one of the main reasons dolls are so unsettling is something called the uncanny valley effect.
Yes.
So when something looks human but is not quite human enough, our brains interpret that subtle wrongness as disturbing. Dolls mimic our faces, expressions, and body proportions, but the lifeless eyes, frozen smiles, and stiff postures trigger an instinctive feeling that something isn't right. It's the same phenomena that makes hyper-realistic robots, mannequins, or wax figures feel very eerie. Our minds are hardwired to notice when human doesn't exactly look human, because through evolution, noticing the off might have helped protect us from danger. So it's kind of like when people say they see like a skinwalker and they can tell because it's just your brain is like, that's not a person.
A human.
Yeah, it's not a person. So dolls are also deeply tied to childhood innocence. They're meant to be playthings, protectors, and companions. When that innocence is twisted, when a doll is said to be haunted, moves on its own, or causes harm, it feels like a betrayal of safety. The comfort object becomes a threat, and that emotional reversal amplifies fear. This also taps into nostalgia and memory. People see old dolls and subconsciously connect them to their own childhoods, which makes any paranormal element feel personal and more disturbing. And then lastly, pop culture has a huge hand in this. Movies, TV shows, and urban legends have drilled into us that dolls are dangerous. From Annabelle to Chucky, these stories condition us to expect evil behind a porcelain smile. When real-life accounts of haunted dolls come along, they tap into that cultural fear we've already been taught, which makes them feel instantly believable and terrifying. Which is very, very true.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So true.
See, but I feel like I've always been scared of dolls. Like, I don't think it took me watching Chucky or anything like that to be nervous around dolls.
Old dolls, yeah.
I feel like
I had hella Barbies.
Yeah, Barbies didn't scare me, which came to another theory I kind of had in here. I didn't put it in this. I had it in my original research. But my original theory was considering what dolls are made of. Like, Barbies are made of plastic. How much residual energy at all does like plastic house versus like glass, porcelain, clay,
something more natural,
wood. Yeah, things made of the earth, like cotton, things that are like pulled and grown from the earth, not made like plastic is burned and chemical and, you know?
Yeah.
So I wonder if porcelain, glass, all of those have a higher effect of holding energy because they're more of the natural world.
Yeah.
Because porcelain dolls are the ones that scare me the most, but they also are the ones that look more human.
Mm-hmm.
So like I remember my grandmother bought me and Murphy dolls. She bought all the girls. So it was me, Murphy, and my cousin. She bought us all dolls for Christmas, like porcelain, just like foot tall dolls.
Yeah.
And none of us were excited.
No.
And we were all like, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
I put mine in the top of my closet and it hurt my grandmother's feelings like super bad because she said all she wanted as a kid was a porcelain doll. And like she got us all one and we all were like, and so I felt bad. So then I did keep them in my room, but I had Murphy's in my room as well. Kept them in my closet in their boxes. Yeah. With stuff on top of the boxes.
Yeah. Leave those boxes intact.
Yeah. When if like, I don't know, it made me feel bad. Like I like felt disrespectful to her and I wasn't trying to. I was just like, I'm scared. It's just
a personal thing.
It makes me nervous. But yeah. No, the only other doll that like, I don't like dolls like old dolls. They freak me out. They scare me. They make me uncomfortable. But I used to have a life-size doll.
Yeah, I had one too. The life-size Barbie.
Yeah. And I don't think that one ever freaked me out, but Ella had one whenever she was younger and hers freaked me out. And like Nash loved it, so Nash would carry it everywhere with him. I'll put pictures in our Instagram because there's literally pictures of him sitting in like the rocking chair with her. Hanging out with her.
Bestie.
And like
Bestie
one
girl.
time he like put her in the corner of the room with her hair covering her face and Murphy walked in and was like, ah! Like there's a picture of that somewhere too.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's scary.
It makes me wonder if we should move her around more often.
What do you mean?
Don't let her be so stagnant to where she can collect energy.
Would you like to move? What if she just was like, Or like
she
the
doesn't
dolls.
smile either.
No. The
What's
dolls.
her name? What do we name her?
Cindy.
Cindy.
Don't forget her name. I'm like, we can't forget her name. You're really going to come after us. Cindy seems nice.
Cindy's a chill girl.
We left her in her original clothing. I was going to have my mom make her an outfit, but I decided that she deserved her
original
comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't disrupt it.
Yeah. The other day though, like in the last episode, you'll probably, maybe the one before, I don't know. We're recording a lot in advance. Because of life happening so much and us not putting episodes out, we're doing our best to be like way on top of it. And in one of the last episodes, you can see where a wasp lands on me.
Oh, yeah.
And there for a minute, I thought Cindy was touching my hair.
Mm-hmm.
For a stiff minute. And then because I told you, I was like, something is touching me right now. And you're like, nothing is touching you.
Yeah.
I said, something is touching me. I'm telling you right now, something's touching me. And then there was a wasp in my chair. So that's good.
Well, at least it wasn't Cindy.
And at least I didn't get stung.
Yeah. Which was also a miracle.
Because I was like moving my hand around back here trying to find it. So. But yeah, if you have any creepy doll stories, which I'm sure a lot of you do, because what?
You didn't see that?
No, what?
I just saw like a shadow.
No.
Something just by outside and caused a shadow or what?
No.
Okay.
I don't know, because we just heard knocking over there too. Relax. We didn't say anything mean or disrespectful. If we need to write Annabelle or Robert and Annabelle, if we need to write
all of them a letter.
Everyone gets a letter.
Everyone's getting a letter.
You get a letter, you get a letter, you get a letter.
Love ya.
Sorry. Yeah, no, okay, you're making me nervous. And it's literally the middle of the day. We are in here at the ripe time of 4:33. No full sun. But if you have any scary stories that you would like to send us, please do. If you would like to join our Discord, you can share your story there or just get in there, and we are uploading funny memes and just talking to everyone and just trying to create a little bit of a community, because why not? But yeah, you have anything else to add?
I don't.
Okay, you can email your stories to sisterofthestrangepodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.